From Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, the 72nd meeting between the Michigan Wolverines and the Spartans of Michigan State. On a cool day, 55 degrees in Michigan, coming in at 3-1, having beaten California last week. Michigan State coming in 3-1, having lost to Notre Dame last week. The rankings in the respective major polls are reflected there. This is a backyard scramble, and it should be a lot of fun. And this ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Black & Decker's Workmate. When you've got a tough job to handle, it's like having an extra pair of hands. And by Michelob Light. It's simply a matter of good taste. And hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. It's kind of fun to come back to old Spartan Stadium. We haven't been here in 4 years because Michigan State has been on NCAA probation. Darryl Rogers coming in really for the first time on national television since he took over the head football job here, and with a chance to put his team in some postseason play. I can tell all of you Michigan State faithful around the country that old Sparty stands crystal clean this morning because the Michigan folks missed him last night and this morning with their balloons filled with blue paint. They tried, but they missed, and Sparty stands untouched. This afternoon, it might be a little slick because we did have some rain earlier in the day, but it's a very comfortable afternoon. This is the 10th largest football stadium in the country, and I guess it's going to be full because they say it's a wall-to-wall sellout. That means close to 80,000 people will be watching the ball game. Now, we will continue throughout the afternoon as we work our way toward this big ball game for these two teams. It means a great deal for this simple reason. It's a conference ball game. The intersectional play is done for all the Big Ten schools. Earlier in the year, it looked like the Big Ten might be the strongest conference in the country. They finished their intersectional play at 16-12. And I think personally the jury is still out as to which group collectively is the strongest in the country. But from here on, it's strictly Big Ten play for all these people. Now, the loser of this ball game today is going to be hard-pressed to stay in the hunt for the trip to the Rose Bowl for the simple reason that Ohio State appears to be getting better and better as they go down the road, and so for that matter is Purdue. So it's Michigan and Michigan State this afternoon from Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. And we'll have a look at the two teams and talk about the playing personnel in just a moment. Pope John Paul is running a bit late in his schedule, going to the White House today in Washington to meet with President Carter. He has been besieged by millions of Americans on his tour, and as soon as he reaches the White House area, we will pick up our coverage of his historic visit. So while we're waiting for that, possibly at halftime, we will have full coverage of it for you. But right now, let's talk about these two football teams. There are several areas of performance that are worrying both these coaches, and I guess when you talk about a college football team, the single position that you worry most about would be the quarterback position. Now, Michigan has a couple of young men who have played very well. In the game against California last week, as the Wolverines won 14-10, B.J. Dickey did not play. He came down with a flu. He was quite ill on the plane ride out to California, and John Wengler was the man who played the entire ball game. But it appears to everybody, and is confirmed by Bo Schembechler, the coach, that B.J. Dickey is the young man that gives them greater potential and greater versatility out of their backfield because he is the better runner. Now, he's been averaging better than 5 yards per carry, carrying the ball himself, and obviously that has to be an asset to the passing game. It also appears that Dickey, number 10 here, may be the quicker, and he definitely is going to get the call to start today against the Spartans because he was the #1 quarterback during this week's practice. And you leave him out there when he has practiced all week. He had an outstanding first half in the ball game against Notre Dame, but tired in the second half. Wengler came in as the Irish won that ball game on Chuck Mail's 3 field goals. Now, John Wengler is a taller fellow. He gets a little better visibility, I think, in the defensive secondary, and he is rated the better passer. He has hit 29 out of 51 for 500 yards. He has 1 interception and a couple of touchdowns. He is a very capable quarterback, and he is not slow by any means. He is well under 5 seconds in the 40-yard dash, and he is available and in good health. As for the Michigan State Spartans, in the first quarter of the ball game at South Bend last week against Notre Dame, their starting quarterback, sophomore Bert Vaughn, went down in sort of an unusual injury. His own elbow got jammed into his kidney, and they had to take him out of the ball game. But he will be wearing some sort of a flak jacket today to protect the injured area, and he was examined yesterday. So he says he feels fine, and he's all ready to go, and he's an outstanding passer. They need Vaughn's arm to be effective in their offense here. They have a very good running game, but it is not a strong enough running game to dominate an opponent. So they've got to have the Air Force to go with it. Now, this sophomore has been throwing the ball long and accurately. His Numbers are impressive and his percentage impressive. But with people like Eugene Bird, who can just flat fly at one wide receiver position, and a big tight end in Mark Bramer, both Bird and Bramer closing in on 100 pass receptions in their career, and with an arm like Vaughn, well, you've got to respect him, and they desperately need him in this ball game this afternoon. Yesterday, the team doctor, Dr. Howe, suggested to Coach Darrell Rogers, on Friday, mind you, that they take Vaughn back down to the medical clinic to a urologist, a specialist, to make sure he was all right. Well, of course, a football coach on Friday to be told that his starting quarterback not be allowed to play is a terrifying experience. So, a very tight stomach, Coach Rogers took his quarterback down to the urologist. And they went through the complete examination. But before he went into the clinic room to be examined, he saw on the wall in the specialist's office a medical degree from, guess where? The University of Michigan. And Coach Rogers said, "Oh, time right there. You are not going to touch my quarterback." But he did, and he found that young Vaughn is all ready to play today. He is in good health, and we'll have more in just a moment.
A Super Bowl stealer is tough to beat.
If the crowd is as large as anticipated, it is going to be the 32nd consecutive full house to watch this football game, whether it's in East Lansing at Michigan State or whether it's in Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan's home stadium. This state really supports this particular football game. The kicking situation for the University of Michigan has been the one thing that's been a prime conversation piece about the team. Now, you can see that they have made only 1 out of 10 attempts. On the other side, Michigan State's kicking game is very effective. 10% is nothing to keep Bo Schembechler's temper in control and attitude very passive. He's concerned about it. Now, earlier this week, Bo Schembechler was involved in an altercation with one of the reporters from the Michigan Daily, because when the media starts telling Bo Schembechler how to coach his football team, he gets pretty hot about it. I talked to the young reporter, Dan Perrin, last night. He was contrite in his own way about it and said it had been blown up a little more than perhaps warranted. But Bo Schembechler has made no changes so far in his kicking game, in that he still has the same people out there. Brian Virgil, who will be punting and doing some of the place kicking. He has a stronger leg in Ali Haji Sheik. But last week in a ball game against California, won by Michigan 14-10, the Wolverines were 0 for 5 in field goal attempts. Now, if you had made 3 of those 5, the ball game would certainly not have been anywhere near as close as it was, and it was a game that went right on down into the final quarter. So the kicking game today could turn out to be very, very important. Not just the place kicking, mind you, but the punting as well, because Michigan's punting program has not been very good either, just slightly more than 30 yards, whereas Michigan State has Ray Stakowicz, and he has been the Big Ten leader in that category, or right around the top, throughout his career. So it'll be fun to watch what happens today on sort of a wet field as we look at the kicking game between the Spartans and the Wolverines. Darrell Rogers, in his 4th year as head coach here at Michigan State, talked yesterday with Bill Fleming. Let's listen to that conversation.
Darrell, when you came to the Big Ten Conference, you brought to it a swashbuckling kind of wide-open style of play, and everybody said, gee, I wonder if he can win that way. Well, you proved you could. You shared the Big Ten championship with Michigan last year, and now we notice that the other teams in the Big Ten seem to have opened up their offense, and I think it's a great tribute to you, because I think you were the guy that caused it.
I don't know. I think it's just a product of the times when it gets right down to it. I think people in the Big Ten were just happened to make some changes, and I happened to be the first one, whereas the Jim Young has now come in from Purdue, and everybody else is coming in. So the Big Ten throws the football so much more than it did 3 years ago, and now we're seeing a heck of a lot different coverages, so it's a lot different football game.
Can you ever remember the time when 3 of the top 10 passers in the country were from the Big Ten?
Well, I think sometimes the people fail to realize that the Big Ten area originated the forward pass. Knute Rockne at Notre Dame, they were the first one to throw the ball, so it started in the Midwest, and then it creeped to the Southwest, and then it went to the far West. And it's nice to have it back in the Midwest again, because I think it's an exciting part of the football game.
Darrell, it's been, what, 4 years now since Michigan State has been on television, 1975. I know it's been a long way. What's been the reaction of your players in being on national TV?
Well, I think they're all excited. Unfortunately, you know, it's the extracurricular activity on the outside makes it exciting, because they've seen what it is and how important it is. And they want to do a good job, and I think our coaching staff, you know, we've always said we can't wait for the cameraman to get on sideline. We'll kiss him. Because...
All right, that's a preamble to our football game. Right now, let's go to Washington. Join Frank Reynolds in our coverage of Pope John Paul's historic visit. All right, This is a football game that a Michigan Daily Sports editor once said, in fact, he threatened to sue to block the playing of the game because he considered it a common nuisance. Well, I should say to you that was a long time ago, because the appetite and the fervor for it is so pronounced now that Ralph Young, who was one time the athletic director at Michigan, said, what we ought to do for this ball game is make the goalposts the trophy, and each year the winner gets a set of gold-plated hacksaws. That's how they feel about it. And the roaring back and forth across him is just now beginning to grow, and it'll get bigger as the afternoon wears on. The records for the two teams on this 1979 season reflected right there with their rankings. They're both 1-0 in the conference, and both teams' losses came at the hands of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And the series record reflected there, with Michigan having dominated it. But last year, in 1978, it was Michigan State winning by a score of 24-10. And they feel they have a football team here today, with young Vaughn coming back healthy and staying healthy through the day, that could make it 2 in a row for the Spartans. And that hasn't happened that many times. We do have one little disquieting note about this region. Down in Berrien County here, there is a tornado warning posted. That's quite a ways south, and it doesn't figure to become involved with the event that we have going on here this afternoon, but it might provide some inclemency in the weather before we are through today. The Michigan State Spartan Band down on the field, concluding their pregame performance. Listen to the roar. That'll do it for today's presentation of College Football Today. We'll be back with our coverage of Michigan State right after this word from our local station. ABC Sports presents NCAA College Football. The Battle of Michigan. The University's Wolverines against Michigan State's Spartans. And we're at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. We've got 32 consecutive sellouts for this matchup between the Wolverines and the Spartans, and this ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to come in and see the all-new 1980 Chevrolets at your Chevy dealers October 11th. By Schlitz, make the most of now. From the life you live to the beer you drink, go for it. By Goodyear Tiempo, the all-season radio. It eliminates winter tire changeover. And by IBM, helping put information to work for people. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, working with us today as our commentator and analyst, Ara Parsegian, formerly of Notre Dame, who had coached a few scuffles in this old stadium yourself, didn't you?
You can say that again, more than one. And as I heard the bands play out there, kind of stirred up old memories and got me all excited again.
This is a great big football stadium now, and the crowd, it's going to be full, about 80,000. The crowd sits right down close to the field. There's no running track to separate you, so it's a loud place.
It really is. And as a matter of fact, the first row is right at ground level, and they'll have more folks. And I think Bo will have some folks right out of the stands on the sideline, as I did more than one engagement here.
Well, one time you had to fight your way through the crowd to get out.
That's right. In 1966, I couldn't get to my bench to find out who was hurt. Remember, Duffy had a lot of friends, a great football coach, and of course, that game was a historic game, and there were more people on the sideline than were in the stands. And Duffy, I think, gave everybody a sideline pass, and he couldn't get a ticket.
Your side.
On my side, I'm getting paid.
All right, let's talk about these two teams. Now, Michigan appears to be a team looking for an offense.
Now, they really do. I'll tell you one thing. They've got a tremendous defensive football team, and Bill Schembechler has won with defense over the years. This ball club is no exception. They're only giving 60 yards a game and 174 totally, but they only give about 9 points a game. And you go back historically, you'll find in the last 5 years, Michigan has been #1 in total defense for the last 5 years against the rush, against the score, and in total defense. And that tells you a little something about their defensive unit. And I happen to be a believer, as a former football coach, that you win with defense. They asked me the question about offense. Their offense is not gelled together yet. They've had problems there. And the point total or point production that they've had, Keith, is not commensurate with the yardage that they're making. They're averaging 408 yards a game. And I think if they ever put it together, they could be very explosive.
Darrell Rogers talking with Bill Fleming a little while ago. Bill suggested that he was the man who had to some degree turned the offensive thinking around up here, because he does put that ball up. And the Michigan State offense is potent.
They really are. I think that Darrell Rogers has brought an entirely new concept and philosophy to Big Ten football. He puts the ball up in the air. You know, they ran a 10-game win streak, and they were pass-oriented. With the exception of last week, you could look in the statistics and find that Michigan State had passed for anywhere from 200 to 250 yards in every ball game. Now, last week, Burt Vaughn, their quarterback, went down in the first quarter, and I don't want to take anything away from Notre Dame because they played a great football game. But Vaughn was out of there from the first quarter, and they only passed for 9 yards. But that is not characteristic of a Rogers team. And as a matter of fact, he won at Ann Arbor a year ago by putting the ball up in the air, and we're going to see it up in the air again today.
Okay, now, Bo's got Dickey back. He gives him a little more versatility in the backfield because he's a little better runner than Wangler, and the Michigan State defense has been sort of permissive.
Yes, they have. They do not have the statistics or the record that Michigan has. They've been giving up about 324 yards a game, and I think about 20 points a game. That's double and more, and that is going to be a big problem for them, although they have really been tough inside the 10 and 20-yard lines, and last week at 4th down and a half a yard to go on 2 occasions at South Bend, they held the Fighting Irish. That tells you a little something about their goal line defense, although they do not have the stats that the Wolverines have defensively, and that may be the outcome of this game.
All right, we're 4 games into the season now, and we feel, at least I do, and you indicate you do too, that Michigan's offense is unsettled. Michigan State's defense is unsettled. You better be at the point where you got to put it up now. You're going to have to live with what you got, because this is a conference ball game, and you lose this one, you're pretty well out of the hunt for that title.
That's exactly right. The conference championship and bowl aspirations and hopes are lying on the outcome of this football game. And it may very well be, in looking at films, as we both did yesterday and studied both teams, the kicking game may be very influential in the outcome of this contest. Michigan State has a tremendous kicking game. They have got a punter, Stakowitz, who averages 44.6. He's number 4 in the nation. And, of course, they've got a great field goal kicker in Anderson.
Okay. All right. That'll do it for all of the talk before. Now it's time to play the game. We'll put it on the tee between the Wolverines and the Spartans in just a moment. Here come the Spartans into the stadium, and the home folks welcome them with a roar at East Lansing, Michigan. '79, coached by Darrell Rogers, beat Illinois, beat Oregon, beat Miami, Ohio, lost to Notre Dame. Football team in the stadium ready to play. We're waiting now for the University of Michigan. The Wolverines traveling up from Ann Arbor. It's not that far between the 2 locations. And no great to do about making this particular trip, and a lot of partisan fans came with them. And right now the Wolverines are making their entry into the stadium with a record of 3-1, having beaten Northwestern, lost to Notre Dame, beaten Kansas and California. And the California ball game was pretty tough. Golden Bears took it to the Wolverines throughout the ball game, and the issue was still in doubt into the 4th quarter. Michigan gets a couple of people back this week for play that they have not had much from so far this year because of injury, one of them being Bubba Paris, the big offensive tackle, the other John Powers. Paris and Powers both coming back this week and available to play. Here are the Wolverines. And Bo Schembechler, the head coach. We're going to be seeing 2 of the best kick return people in the country today. Derek Hughes of Michigan State and Anthony Carter of Michigan. Hughes second in the nation in kickoff returns, averaging better than 38 yards. Carter is tied for 3rd in punt returns, averaging 18 yards. Now, let's join our colleague Bill Fleming, who will be with us throughout the afternoon.
Keith, there's another big ball game going on as far as rivalries are concerned today. Penn State and Maryland. In the first 2 minutes of that game, Mike Lewis of Maryland fumbled upon his own 14-yard line. Penn State just needed one play to take it in, with Matt Suhey going the 14 yards for the touchdown. Then a 36-yard field goal by Manhart has put Penn State's Nittany Lions back on top 10-0. I say back on top because you know what happened last week. Let's take a look at some of the other scores here. Ohio State in front of Northwestern in the first quarter, 10-0. And a quick look at some of the other games going on today. Pittsburgh out in front of Boston College in the second period of play. Brown over Princeton, 10-0 in the first quarter. And Columbia out in front of Pennsylvania in the second period of play. Yale 3-0 over Colgate. These all, of course, from the Ivy League. Now let's go down to the flip of the coin at the center of the field.
He calls, and the heads it is. You won the toss, you can take the football or a goal. You want to receive? Which goal do you want to defend? The south goal. South goal, and you're down there. All right, turn around.
Referee Gene Calhoun with a flip of the coin, and the team captains Ron Simpkins and John Arbesnick for Michigan. Michigan State, Dan Bass and Mark Bramer. Frank Strocher, the umpire. Bob Walker, the head linesman. Dale Oram, the line judge. Otto Poles, the field judge. And Mike Nevin is the back judge. And at halftime, we'll be going back to Washington, rejoining our news team, headed by Frank Reynolds, to recap and hear highlights of the Pope's speech today at the White House. Now we are ready to play football in East Lansing between the... Bert Vaughn will start at quarterback, a sophomore from Mogadore, Ohio. Steve Smith is a junior out of Louisville, Kentucky. Lonnie Middleton from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Eugene Bird from East St. Louis, Illinois is the flanker, a wide receiver. And Samson Howard out of Miami is the other wide receiver. That'll be the offensive starting unit as Michigan State won the toss, as you saw, and chose to receive the football. So we'll get an early look at Derek Hughes, who is a long, rangy fellow who can really fly. So the Spartans will send out up front Mark Bramer, tied in. He is a senior, 238 pounds. Angelo Fields, 295. Jeff Wiska, 230 pounds at guard. Matt Foster, 227 at center. Rod Strata, 235 at guard, and Ted Gravenhorst at tackle. He is 267, so the Spartans do have good size up front. This is one of those emotional games where almost anything can happen if the talent is relatively equal, and it appears to be. Ali Haji Sheikh will kick it off, the freshman out of Arlington, Texas. He's number 6 there. And the men who will be deep to receive it, Derek Hughes, as we mentioned, his numbers, a sophomore out of Charleston, South Carolina. He's to the left of your picture, and up in the right corner, that is Steve Smith, the starting tailback. Well, the crowd comes up, walls on the tee, and here we go. That's Smith. He's deep in the end zone. He will not return it. So that little piece of drama is denied as we begin the ball game. Michigan State will get the football out at the 20, first down. Defensively for the Michigan Wolverines, they'll line up with 3 down linemen, Curtis Greer, Dale Kites, and Chris Godfrey. The linebacking core will be Needham, Simpkins, Canavino, and Owens, with Needham and Owens playing the outside defensive position. The secondary, Jolly, Bremen, Harden, and Harris. Here's the first play of the ball game. Bird goes wide to the left, top of your picture, bottom of the picture, that is Samson Howard. Bert Vaughn's first snap. Tailback Smith with a 21, and that's it. He got caught in traffic as he tried to move through there with number 90 down in the bottom of the stack. Godfrey, Mel Owens up on top. Derek Hughes in at tailback now for Michigan State. Andy Schramm goes in. Middleton and Smith come out. Same wide men, except they reverse position with Bird coming to this side of the field. It's second down and 9 from the 21. Hughes gets the call, and Derek is out to the 25-yard line. And again, Chris Godfrey, number 90, is involved on the play defensively for Michigan.
It's interesting, Michigan State has tried on 2 occasions in a row to hit the middle area where Mike Turgovac, who is out of the ball game because of a broken hand. Dale Kites, the defensive tackle, has been moved into that position, and Kites has done very well in the opening 2 plays.
Returning to the Michigan State backfield now as Darrell Rogers substitutes 2 men, or Smith, and they set up this time with split backs. And it's a passing formation. They drop it off to the fullback Schramm. Schramm has some room upfield, dives for the 30, reaches the 31, first down, Spartans. They took Bird deep that time to clear out the area and then dropped it off.
Great call here. You know that Michigan's going to be putting the rush on in an obvious passing situation. Vaughn comes back, dumps it over the rush. Beautiful catch here. They got good blockers in front. And finally they get good support and stop the play. Well, they did get the first down.
Yes, they did, out to the 31-yard line. So it's first down, Spartans. Getting that first down can mean a lot. Middleton back in at fullback. The tailback is Hughes. Hughes slips and slides in there for a couple of yards before the Wolverines react, with Andy Canavino, number 41, leading the defensive play. Mark Bramer is the All-American, Football Writers All-American tight end. Good receiver. Draws a crowd, doesn't he?
You think they weren't keying on him? Well, they guessed wrong. They screened him. It was a great call on Michigan State's part.
It's second down from the 34-yard line, 7 to go. Almost dropped the ball. Canavino's after him. He has pretty good foot speed. Turns it upfield. Goes up to the 37 before Kite brings it down. A senior out of Columbus, Ohio. Bert Vaughn is in that 4.6 range, 4.7 for the 40. So he's not somebody's Aunt Primrose back there. He can move it around.
Yeah, they fired Canavino that time, going after him, and he got outside to contain. Canavino could not catch him, and he's a fine football player.
Showed pretty good poise, too, because he didn't let Canavino's charge panic him at all. He took his time, turned it upfield at the 37, but now they need 5.5 yards in the first down from the 37 on third down. Vaughn looks. He throws it short. Pass is incomplete. He had his fullback, Schramm, right there. Pass was a little bit high, and Schramm off stride, apparently, just simply couldn't get both hands up to catch it.
Well, it was wide open. Here's Greer, the great Michigan tackle. Let's see what they do on this run action pass. Oh, they're really working him over. They didn't want him rushing the passer, and they avoided it very nicely. Great job of blocking.
All right. Anthony Carter will go deep for Michigan, along with Mike Jolly, the short man. Stakowicz, the leading punter in the Big Ten. He's terrific. He knocks that ball all the way back to the 8-yard line. Carter, he is something, and the freshman is back to the 25. That's a 55-yard punt by Stakowicz. He brought it back to the 25, and that's where the Wolverines will go to work. Well, you talk about the kicking game. You just saw the Michigan State punter Stakowicz hit it 55 yards. Last week he averaged 46 yards against Notre Dame on 9 punts. He had 1 to travel and only 6. Here are the Wolverines now with Edwards the tailback from the 24 up to the 26, and he is cut down hard by Rick Milheiser. The offensive backfield for the Michigan Wolverines will line up with B.J. Dickey at quarterback, a junior from Ottawa, Ohio. Stanley Edwards from Detroit. Tailback Lawrence Reed is at fullback. Good blocker. Ralph Clayton, who is quite a weapon, is the flanker. Alan Mitchell, a wide receiver. It's second down and about 8 yards from the Michigan 26-yard line. Dickey on an option. Turns it up. He gets maybe a yard. Michigan's linebacking core led by Otis and Savage in there to make the stop. The offensive front for the Michigan Wolverines, they're pretty good size. Doug Marsh, the tight end, he's a good one, 235. Ed Muransky, 266 sophomore. Kurt Becker, a guard at 244 junior. George Lilja at center, 249, a senior. John R. Besnick, a senior, 243 pounds. And that's Big Bubba Paris, 273. Third down and 7. Dickey wants to throw, hums it up, incomplete, intended for the tight end Marsh coming downfield. So Michigan now will have to punt. Virgil will be sent in to do it. And let's see right here what the kicking game amounts to as far as the punters are concerned. Stakowicz hit 155. Let's see how much Virgil can answer with.
Another big question here. Turgerback is out, and he was the long snapper for the Wolverines. And Lilja will come in and snap a new guy, and doesn't have the zip on the ball that Turgeback had. Let's see if he can get it back there well.
Lilja is doing the snapping. Point that Era made, and you want to watch that all day. But that snap is good. Virgil's kick is out of there. And it's Derek Hughes taking it at the 44-yard line, comes back to the 48. It was a 30-yard punt. So that's a 24-yard difference right there in the punting. Here's Bill again.
And once again, another quick look at some of the scores going on. Last night, Brigham Young defeated Hawaii. Perhaps you were aware of that one this morning. But this is one you're not aware of, as Penn State has recovered a fumble on the 2-yard line and taken it in again. Boy, fumbles have really plagued the Terrapins today.
From the 48-yard line, Michigan State operating in its second possession, no score, first quarter. Vaughn pitches the ball back to Steve Smith. He breaks it, and he pops it all the way down to the Michigan 38-yard line, and the fullback, Lonnie Middleton, threw a whale of a block to get him around the corner, 13-yard pickup.
There's a well-blocked play. You'll see Middleton leading the play. It's a play that you'll see most of the afternoon with a tailback pitch. You can see that number 41, Cannavino, comes in and sacrifices himself. Harden comes up and makes the play, but it was a well-executed football play by Michigan State.
First down at the Michigan 38-yard line. First time either team has penetrated the other's territory. Handoff goes to Schramm, the fullback, and he dives for 3 down to the 35-yard line. He is a 222-pound junior from Findlay, Ohio. Calling that Michigan's, the Penn State score. I would think that Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions need one to get themselves reorganized after taking a thrashing last week in Nebraska. Other scores from around the east there. Ball is exactly at the 30 line of Michigan. It's second down and 7 for the Spartans, and the handoff to Smith up the middle he goes, and he's got another first down. Big hole in the middle. Wiska, Foster, Strata, Kramer, all in there whacking away with solid blocks. And Smith almost broke that one.
Little sprint draw in there that was well blocked and well run. Watch the opening to the inside. We'll get a replay of it here.
Bruce Reeves now makes his first entry into the ball game. Number 30, a junior from Irmo, South Carolina. They have 3 tailbacks, and all of them play quite a bit at Michigan State. Ball is at the 22-yard Michigan first down. Reeves gets the call. Jumps over one man and goes to the 20-yard line. Gets a couple of yards. He runs into Cannavino, junior out of Cleveland, and Andy's been pretty busy here in the early going.
It looked like he audibilized that time, and the Michigan defense slanted in the proper direction, and there was very little chance for the Spartans to develop a successful running play that time.
Looks like Darrell Rogers has decided to make double substitutions much of the day in the backfield because he's sending in a new tailback and a new fullback here, and now back in is Smith and Middleton. They are the starters. It is second down and 8 from the 20. Vaughn back to throw. Down he goes. He had Eugene Bird, but he couldn't see him in time, and Ron Simpkins led the charge with Chris Godfrey, number 90.
Well, they were doing something to the Wolverines that most teams had not. Here's another look at it. That was move the ball on the ground, but they get to him before he can get rid of the ball, and they're taking him deeper. In the event that there is a field goal opportunity, it'll be a much longer one with that negative yardage.
That's the 3rd time that Vaughn has been sacked this year. Between the 31 and 32 on 3rd and long. They've got to go to the 12. They need a little more than 21 yards. And they pitch it to Derek Hughes. And Hughes is pinned by number 95, Curtis Greer. And actually, Curtis was blocked into his legs and took him down.
Yeah, Curtis made a great move to escape the block. And as he was escaping the block, his body got right in the way. And he made a tackle without knowing that he had made it.
Stakowicz will come in. They're outside field goal range of their good kicker, Morton Anderson. He's another Dane following in the heels of Hans Nielsen here, and he's very good. They will go to the punt with Stakowicz. He'll try to hit a knuckleball and knock it out of the corner, but right now, time is called on the field. It's charged to Michigan State with 6 minutes and 57 seconds to play in the first quarter, and no score in this whole intra-state rivalry. Michigan State will go to the punt. Obviously, he wants to knuckle it down there and keep them deep. Spins it. Into the corner. Beauty. Oh, that punt is a weapon. Right, he knocks it out on the 4-yard line. The distance it traveled in this case, really incidental. It's a 30-yard punt, but he put it out inside the 4-yard line. So Stachowicz is doing his job so far today, having it a 55-yarder and now pinning the Wolverines deep inside the 5-yard line.
I thought it was an interesting decision that Darrell Rogers made. Rather than to go for a field goal, which would have been 52 yards, and certainly Anderson kicked 53, 52-yard field goals, he elected to pin down Michigan deep in their own territory.
At the 4, first down for the Wolverines, and it's noisy down at that end of the stadium. And B.J. Dick is not having any of it. He backs off the ball right down. And Gene Calhoun, the referee, comes up, stands over the ball. And defensively for Michigan State, this is the way they line up, with Tanya Webb, Bernard Hay, and Pat Mitten. Mitten's a freshman up in that defensive front. Linebacking core, 4 of them, Savage, Bass, Otis, and McCormick. Bass has started every game all 4 years that he has played at Michigan. The secondary, Williams, Burroughs, Milheiser, and Anderson. Dickey hands the ball off to Reed, the fullback. He dives into the 5, and I don't think he got much more than a yard as the entire linebacking group just collapsed on him.
Now, see whether Bo takes any kind of chances down here. You see that he just sent in a play. Boy, that's a tough area to work in.
Give him 2 yards on that surge, though. He did get it out to the 6-yard line. They get 2nd down and 8. Alan Mitchell comes to the near side of the field. Say, Michigan State doesn't believe he's going to do anything but what he did. Give it to the tailback and run it up the middle, and he gets it out near the 9-yard line. And on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football presentation next Monday at 9 Eastern Time, you have the Miami Dolphins and the Oakland Raiders. Looks like Bob Greasy is shaking off his aches and pains and is going to play for Miami. Of course, Oakland has been whacked around quite a bit this year, and you never know when that ball club is going to rise up, though, and take somebody's head off. It's Miami-Oakland next Monday night. 3rd down from the 9. Dickey on the option. They go outside to Edwards. He's got the first down and then some. Holy smokes, he almost broke it big. He runs it all the way out near the 38-yard line before they're finally able to shove him out of bounds, and he only had 1 man to beat once he got around that corner.
I'll tell you one thing, I was impressed with Dickey's coolness operating down here with a full option, coming down the line. He doesn't rush it. He makes a beautiful pitch here in dangerous area. And, of course, there goes Edwards up the sideline. Beautifully executed play, particularly from the position that they had.
Van Williams was the last hope in green, too.
Yeah, I thought he was gone.
They mark him out at the 34, 25-yard pickup. First down, Wolverines, as they get off the hook and ride it off to the fullback, Reed. Reed runs it for about 5 yards to the 39 before Dan Bass, a senior from Bath, Michigan, brings him down. I'll tell you right now that Edwards is quick. We know that, but so is this fellow Bass. He ran a interception back 99 yards for a touchdown this year. Very quick linebacker.
Bass is a great football player. He's all over the field. Defends the run and the pass about as well as anything we've seen.
Double wide now with Anthony Carter in the ball game to the top of the picture. Dickey turns and gives it to the tailback Edwards. And Edwards from the 39 up to about the 42. And the Wolverines will be looking at 3rd down, and they need 2 yards. Edwards has now carried 4 times in the ball game for 32 yards. Norm Betts, number 82, returns to the lineup, and Carter goes out.
Well, let's see what kind of play they come up with. Last time they had the 3rd down play, which was executed, was the option. Let's see if they come with it again.
Mitchell runs up to the top of the picture as the wide receiver. Edwards, the tailback. Dickey rides into the fullback, keeps it, and does not get first down. I don't know.
I think he's marking it.
Close. Yeah, they give him to the 45, don't they?
Yeah, he marked it clear up there.
So it will be a first down as Larry Savage, number 57, a senior from Warren, Ohio. Boy, I'll tell you, they do produce football players out of Warren, Ohio.
Well, being a native Ohioan. What do you think?
You had some fellas named Browner come out of Warren, Ohio.
Oh, you bet. They're great football players. There's great football played in all the states in the Midwest, but certainly Ohio turns out a lot of them.
First down, Wolverine. Up to 45. Dickey back to throw it. Goes for Carter. It's too deep. Freshmen have double coverage going down the field with Jim Burrows and Mark Anderson running right along with Anthony Carter. Tomorrow we have an ABC News exclusive for you. Pope John Paul II's Washington Mass will have live coverage at 3 Eastern Time, and at halftime today we'll go back to Washington for highlights of the Pope's visit to the White House. It is second down and 10 for Michigan at their own 45 with 3 seconds to play in the first quarter and no score. Mitchell left, Clayton right. Mitchell in motion. Dickey keeps it. Now goes wide to Edwards. And the option stuff is working pretty well for the Michigan Wolverines in the early going of the ball game.
Virtually the same play. They've got themselves out of the own shadow of their goal line. The option to the left. And again, executed exceptionally well with good blocking and Dickey staying cool.
Well, the Michigan State defense is going to have to penetrate more in order to stop that kind of stuff, because they sort of laid off the 2 times they've broken big plays on them.
Hanging back rather than aggressively forcing the quarterback to show his hand.
Ball is just inside the Michigan State 43. First time Michigan's been in Spartan country today. First down Wolverines. Ball is ridden off to the fullback. Fumble. It'll be second down as Michigan retains possession just barely. Steve Otis, inside linebacker, came in there and really busted him. He's out of Chicago.
It's fortunate that ball bounced back to him, because there was no one other than his own hands to be able to grab that ball. All the other Wolverines were gone, faking the option to the right.
Lost a little, just a little more than 10 yards now on second down from the 43. Edwards. Oh, he butterfingered the ball and then breaks a big play. Penalty flag goes down. So Edwards almost dropped the football before he got himself in gear, and then breaks it big down the sidelines, and the flag's on the field.
Got a mask over on the sideline.
That's a tough call for the Spartans. Big break for the Wolverines. Outside stuff working very well for Michigan here in the first quarter with 2:53. There's the signal from the referee, Gene Calhoun. Face mask. And that takes with it 15 yards.
See if we can get it here. Edwards does a great job of running. Must have happened before he got there, because we do not see it in our picture.
First down, Michigan.
First down, the Michigan Wolverines, just inside the Michigan State 13-yard line. Butch Wolfolk is now coming at tailback. 202-pound sophomore from Westfield, New Jersey. Looked pretty good last week against California. Wolfolk has it. Going to the outside, inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line before Dan Bass makes the tackle for the Michigan State Spartans.
Bass is a great linebacker. Take another look at this play here. Number 49 flows with the play. Wolfolk gets some daylight. See him moving right with the ball. But this is where Michigan, they've got a great drive here. They've done this before. They've come down the field, and they've had trouble getting it in from this point on the field. Let's see what happens.
Dickey pulls the trigger, gives to Wolfolk the tailback, and goes over the middle. He gets to the 4-yard line before Michigan State can bring him down. On the bottom of the stack, Bernard Hay, number 93. 2:05 to play in the first quarter. This possession by the Wolverines started inside their own 4-yard line. And most of the damage to Michigan State's position has been done by the outside option play.
Edwards has gotten to the corner, to the left side twice with big yardage, and also on the toss sweep to the right.
Third down, they need a little more than a yard for a first down. The football is at the 4-yard line of State. Dickey options. Dives for his first down, and he should have it. Steve Otis helped pin him right about the 3-yard line, maybe inside of that. It could be first down and goal to go for Michigan as the clock stops at 1:31 to go in the first period. It is the first down.
Ball at the 1.5-yard line.
This is an impressive possession by Michigan.
It really is. When you can drive the length of the field, and of course they had the good fortune on that one fumble to be able to recover it right here at around the 41-yard line.
They also had a 15-yard face mask penalty, which helped them along. From the 2-yard line, first and goal to go. Dickey out to Woolfolk. Touchdown, Michigan. He runs right through Rich Milhauser.
That's a pretty gutsy call down here with first down. I don't know that I would have done it. I think I would have tried to muscle it in there. But they run the option play. Milhauser just misses him at the 5-yard line. And Woolfolk comes into the end zone. He's already in the end zone before he fumbles the ball.
And so the Wolverines get on the board first. Virgil in for the extra point try. The holder is Tony Jackson. 1:03 to go, first quarter. Virgil hits it, and it's good. And so the University of Michigan Wolverines gets the early lead, 7-0. There are the numbers on a very impressive Michigan scoring drive. A little more than 96 yards, actually, but it'll go in the book as 96. 14 plays, better than 5 minutes, and they lead 7-0. We were told by one of the Michigan State defensive coaches yesterday that Michigan had not been running the option play as much this year as they have in the past. But look at here. They just used the option play to beat Michigan State's drum, didn't they?
They did. They came right down the field. The big gainers came off the option.
All right, here's your kickoff. Archie Sheik hits it, hooks it. It goes into the end zone, and Steve Smith will have nothing to do with it. And Michigan State will come out of the offense. First down at the 20. Here's Bill again.
I think all of our fans remember what Art Schleister did against UCLA last week. Well, today he's passed for 1 touchdown, and he's set up a field goal with another 26-yard pass. So Schleister is having another great day as Ohio State, ranked 8th in the country, is out in front of Northwestern second period, Keith.
Okay, sir. Eugene Bird comes to the lower part of your picture. Anson Howard up at the top. Michigan leading 7-0. Ball is good. It's kept by Vaughn, the quarterback. He throws a bullet, and he hits Bird, and Bird was jitterbugging with the ball as he went out of bounds. He didn't have control of it.
That's unusual for him. He's an outstanding receiver. He had the ball. He just came right down the field, single coverage. And Vaughn demonstrates that he can throw the ball. Seems like he's well. He puts it right there where it has to be. And unlike Bird, he juggled it, did not have possession as he stepped out of bounds.
And it's second down and 10 for Michigan State. Wolverines offering a 5-man look up front right now. 52 defense. And Vaughn's going to put it up again. He goes to Bird. This time the quarterback missed his man. Ball was thrown out of bounds.
Had him open again.
Hey, number 1, baby!
Dan Edwards, the tailback for Michigan, picked up 59 of the yards. He's carried now 6 times in the game for a total of 63.
Way above his average of about 5 per crack.
Third down and 10. Let's see if the Wolverines lay the ears back and come. An obvious pass situation. Well, they give it to the tailback, Smith. Smith gets away from Diggs. Turns upfield to about the 24, but it's well short of the first down. Jolly shoved him out. And so it is 4th down, and Ray Stokowicz, number 19, comes into the game. Look at Cincinnati. Jumped right in there with North Carolina. The Tar Heels have been thumping folks pretty regularly, but having trouble today with Cincinnati at 14. And the Demon Deacons snorting again. Dartmouth leading Holy Cross at halftime. Carter is deep to receive for Michigan. Snaps on the numbers, and another beautiful kick by Stakowicz. Carter at the 30. Oh. He's all the way back to the 46-yard line. It was a 47-yard punt, but the return from the 30 out around the 46 is where they'll put it down. So 16 yards for Carter there, and he was averaging 18 coming into the game.
I make it a habit to talk to both coaches before a game, and I talked with Bo, and he described Anthony Carter as dynamite. And, you know, every time he gets his hands on the ball, you just expect something to happen. He's not very big, 5'11", 155, but he's got a lot of moves.
He's 2/3 legs. All-legged fly. First down for the Wolverines. Edwards has the ball. And he goes from the 46 to about the 49. Stakowicz, now watch how hard he hits the ball, but watch the follow through. Brings that leg way up, and it gives it the spin and the lift.
Wow. We call that a lot of clubhead speed, Keith.
That's right. Foot speed. Let's call it the 50-yard line. Make it second down and 6 for Michigan. Fullback has the ball, runs it back over the right side for a couple of yards. First quarter is over, and after one period of play, Michigan 7, Michigan State nothing. We'll move to quarter number 2 now, with Michigan being very impressive so far in this ball game, having driven 96 yards, lead 7-0. They have the ball right now at the Michigan State 48, third down. Got to go just inside the 44. They need about 5 yards, and Dickey looks to put it up, finds nobody, turns upfield, and gets slapped around a little bit as he got to the 46. Johnny Lee Haynes, a junior from Delray Beach, Florida, and Tanya Webb, a junior out of Augusta, Arkansas. Webb, 242, big fella, defensive tackle.
Great coverage on the play. Of course, you look at the stats here. You can see that both teams are on schedule statistically, it seems. Certainly Michigan is. Almost 100 yards in the first quarter, 91. And holding Michigan State to a total of 39 is just about the average that they've been giving.
On fourth down from the 45-yard line, Virgil is in the punt for Michigan. Hughes and Smith are deep for Michigan State. Snap high. Virgil gets it and shanks it. Shanked it out of bounds. Not much on the punt. Michigan kicking game remains a source of worry. That was a 21-yard punt. Next Saturday, we're going to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Oh, my goodness, a traditional between Oklahoma and Texas. They are ranked 3rd and 4th in the nation. Both of them starting to get their acts in high gear. And it's always one of the great college football games of the season, and we'll have it for you next Saturday. Those times listed right there.
Michigan State at the 24.
24-yard line of Michigan State, first down, Spartan. Vaughn gives it to the fullback, and Andy Strand gets out to the 30 for 6 yards. It'll bring up second down, 4.
Along with Mel Owens.
Number 40 is Ron Simpkins, and he is a good football player.
Bo was telling me the... oh, my. No. That's a no-no. Official caught that action. That'd be 15 yards.
He missed, though.
Well, but the intent was wrong.
Certainly there wasn't. Second down, 4. Tailback, Derek Hughes. And Hughes is out close to the first down. Canavino diving in there to bring him down. Derek Hughes is 6'3", 194 pounds. Sophomore from Charleston, South Carolina. Hokies jump out 7-0 over Colorado in the first quarter. We'll be seeing Billy Sims next week. Alabama against Wichita State. The Tied scoring 6-6 last week against Vandy. Nebraska leading New Mexico State in the first period. First down for Michigan State. They're on 35-yard line. Fullback, big hole. After the 40. I tell you right now, if Simpkins doesn't stay home, Schramm runs for a long way.
Well, the other thing that's happening in there is the Spartans have been able to penetrate in the interior of the Wolverine line. Even though Kite is doing a good job, it's not as familiar a position to him as certainly Turgerback, who's been in there for about 2 years.
Second down, 5 from the 40. Michigan State's been averaging about 5 yards on each first down play. That's a big edge, but they're not on the board. Oh, great play. As Bruce Reeves starts to cut it over the left side, Dale Kites, the senior out of Columbus, is right there to make the tackle.
My golly, that time they didn't get any yardage on him. He came through there and got great penetration. Slanted, got penetration, and of course they had no chance to generate any kind of yardage.
He ran right by Angelo Fields. Just whistled past him.
About a 300-pounder, that Fields.
Ball is at the 38. Third down play. Vaughn gives to the tailback, Smith. And Smith goes to the Michigan 42. First down. Andy Schramm, the fullback. The door opening block, a gain of 20 yards.
Sprint draw, well blocked. Michigan thought it was going to be a pass. I thought so too, for that matter. Beautifully executed. Let's see if we can see. Well, we lose the replay here. Try to get back to it.
Hey, Strata and Foster are doing a good job in that middle there. They're in Wiska. They're knocking people around. Spartans down by a score of 7-0. 11:21 to go, first half. Vaughn goes to Hughes. Hughes runs into Jolly. Jolly brings him down for a 3-yard loss back at the 45.
Jolly has been a fine football player for Michigan for 2 or 3 years, and Bo says, watch him. He's a steady player. You see him come right up there and make a picture tackle. It's not easy for a halfback supporting on a good running back, and he did the job.
Second down, 13. Ball at the 45.
Need 13 yards on second down, just outside the 45. On will throw over the middle, high and deep for Howard, and Sampson can't get it. Not particularly well thrown ball. It was much too long from the very beginning.
Well, he just overled him. If it'd been on the money that time, looked like he could have got a big gain with it.
Well, it was just a foot race. He'd put it up there and told Sampson to sick him, and he was just going down the sideline.
Sampson had a step or two. Here's where the Spartans have hurt him here on the sprint draw. Let's see if they go to it again.
3rd and 13 with Jim Williams in the ball game as a wide man.
Yeah, there it is.
Derek Hughes ran into his own man. If he had been able to get number 75, Gravenhorst, out of his way, I think he would have broken that play. But he ran into the big tackle who was jammed up on the line. And they get him at about the 41, so it'll be 4th down.
They're really hurting him with that play. He came back with it again. Michigan's going to have to adjust to that.
This will be Stakowicz now. 3 punts in the ball game. 44 yards, but that's deceptive because remember that 30-yarder was so delicately placed out of bounds at the 4. The other punts have been 55 and 47. Snaps a little high. He's going for the corner again. Fair catch is called down at the 10-yard line by Michael Harden. So Michigan gets the ball, but they are backed up in be careful country.
11-yard line.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have highlights of the Pope's visit to the White House for you from our news team in Washington. Right now, let's watch the Michigan Wolverine. Backed up, ball is just outside the 10-yard line with Ralph Clayton way wide to the top of the picture. Dickey turns and gives the ball off to the fullback. They're trying to be conservative down inside. Don't take any chances. Roosevelt Smith is now working at the fullback position for Michigan. And here's our fullback, Bill Fleming.
Notre Dame jumped off to a 7-0 lead with Vegas Ferguson going on a 3-yard run, but then on the very first play after the kickoff, Leon Chadwick of Georgia Tech received an 80-yard pass from Mike Kelly, and Georgia Tech has tied it up 7-7 with what may be quite a game at South Bend.
Okay, Bill, the 14-yard line, 2nd down and 7. Here's Stanley Edwards, the tailback. Edwards is hit by number 57, Larry Savage, and he's dropped at the 17-yard line. Edwards has now carried 8 times in the game, total 70 yards. And the coach suggested that Georgia Tech might be the kind of a football team to be troublesome for the Irish today.
Well, that Kelly can throw the football, and anytime a passer gets a hot hand, look out. That always worried me as a football coach, and anytime you've got a guy in there that can complete passes like Schleister, and of course Kelly's a good passer. There's some great ones in the country today.
3rd down for Michigan. They need 3.5 yards to keep the ball. Dickey wants to throw. Goes over the middle with it. The pass is complete. Caught by the tailback Edwards out at the 24, and it's good for a 1st down. Steve Otis, the tackle for Michigan State. So the Wolverines will get 4 more plays out of this possession.
A couple of things that Bo Schembechler has done. In the drive that they went 96 yards, they executed the option deep in their own territory. Here you see Dickey back passing deep in his own territory, which is unlike previous Schembechler teams. He's opened up. And, of course, he retains possession of the ball with this pass completion.
Call it the 25. It's closer there. 1st down, Wolverines. They lead 7-0. 8:20 to go 1st half. Dickey rides it off the fullback. Reed dropped the ball. Dickey dives for it. Looks like he kept it for them. So Reed never had control of it. It's a little bit wet down on the field. We had some rain this morning, drizzled very lightly about an hour ago. But it's damp.
Now they're very fortunate to get it back. The ball came right out of his hands, right back to Dickey. Let's see if we can take a look at it. The ball is in, then it slips out right there, pops right back into Dickey's arms. Can't see whether nope, never hits the ground.
So Dickey keeps it, and it's 2nd down 8 from the 27. Edwards. Now, that's a how do you do as he tries to run it into the middle, and he runs into 57, 52. That's Savage and Otis.
Steve Otis, 52, made the tackle.
Down on the bottom of it, number 49, Dan Bass.
Also, Otis is a number 2 tackler on this Michigan team. I'll tell you that. Edwards was going nowhere against the interior of that Spartan line.
3rd down, 7. Make it 6. 3rd down and 6. Smith is a fullback. Edwards, the left half in this particular alignment. Dickey wants to throw and does to the sidelines and throws it in the crowd. He was looking for Clayton. Clayton was covered on the sidelines, and as he let the ball go, Big Panya Webb set him down rather firmly.
I couldn't tell whether he was deliberately trying to throw the ball out of bounds because Clayton wasn't open or whether or not the contact by Webb created the errant throw.
We should have good field position on this punt for Michigan State. Virgil is in to kick, Lilja doing the snapping, and Turgovac is normally the man that snaps for Michigan. Virgil's 2 punts, 31 and 21. They block it! Tim Burrows came flying in from the corner and blocked it. And the Spartans have the ball down at the Michigan 15. Boy, there were a lot of green shirts there, weren't there?
Oh, yeah.
So Burrows knocks it down, and Michigan State's in business just short of the 15-yard line. They almost picked that thing off and took it right in. Let's see if the Spartans can cash it in. Now Vaughn back in here. Remember, there is no running track in this stadium around the playing area. So this crowd of 79,311, 6th largest ever, is very close to the field of play. And they can get very loud.
See what happens whether he takes an extra step. Of course, Schembechler was worried about the snapping and the punting, and rightfully so, as Burrows here blocks the kick. And the Wolverines are very fortunate because there are 5, 6 green shirts And that's one of the few times in college football that you can advance the ball, pick it up and run for a score.
Okay? You got it worked out. You play like it.
Vaughn to throw. Throws for Bird. In the corner. Overthrows it. Again, Vaughn throws a pass that had no chance of being caught.
Well, they're
See
trying
where
to go-
Bird went. He went up in the 5th row trying to get it.
Went after it right now. Tried to score quick with a pass.
One of the other problems Michigan State has in this particular field position on that side of the field is the Michigan band is over there, and the drummer is not going to help the Michigan State offense. I can tell you right now. Second down, just outside the 15. Fullback, Tran, a yard. Owens right there.
That's an interesting call there. It came up, went for the home run on the first play, turned around and tried to slip the ball to the fullback on the second, anticipating possibly a heavy rush.
Slow developing, though. They didn't really pop off on the first sound to take advantage of the surprise element. This program, an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. Third down. Call it 8 from the 14 of Michigan.
Coming after him.
Looks like he audibleized. He hit as the ball gets away. It's intercepted by Harden. And Harden breaks it big for Michigan. All the way back to the 40-yard line. The man that hit the quarterback is Mel Owens, and he just leveled him. The ball wobbled. It was a Don Quayle, and it fell right into the hands of Michael Harden. And it's 7-0 Michigan with a timeout. Mike Harden, defensive back who intercepted that pass, his first of the year.
Came up block. I don't know if even if he was trying to get out, he could.
He's not on the phone accepting congratulations. He's out there on the phone receiving defensive instructions when he has to go back in. First down from the 39-yard line, and Edwards goes up the middle. All the way to the 48. Again, go back to the interception. Watch Owens now as he comes in, left to right on your picture, and nails Vaughn just as he delivered the ball. And Harden's right there.
He never had a chance. It's not Vaughn's fault. He did not get the protection. It was a great defensive play by the Wolverines.
Second down, 2. Edwards now 81 yards on 10 carries. He's got it. He's got the first down as he penetrates to the Michigan State 48 with 5:14 to play in the first half.
First down, Michigan on the run. Steve Otis made the tackle, along with Bernard Hayes.
Pittsburgh 14-zip over Boston College at halftime. A lot of the games in the eastern part of the country moving right along now. Next Saturday we go to Oklahoma, Texas in the Cotton Bowl for you. Dickey back to throw. Completes it to Edwards out of the backfield to the Michigan State 39-yard line. He's a yard short of his first down. 2nd and 1 coming. 2 out of 5 for 16 yards now for B.J. Dickey. I keep wondering when in the world they're going to use Clayton. He is a terrific athlete. Duke leading Army 10-0. Oh, Blue Devils getting out in front. Norman Coach's Bulldogs doing all right, too. They keep it inside with the fullback Roosevelt Smith, a 200-pound junior out of Detroit, carrying the ball. He's got the first down as he gets to the Michigan State 35.
Kenya Webb. Larry Savage, 57, made the tackle.
Bill's got about 4 minutes and 20 seconds here. Plenty of time, and he's in 4-down area. See whether he tries to keep it on the ground or put it up.
It's the back, baby!
Carter in motion. Dickey whips it out there to set up a screen for him. And he's inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line.
Complete to Carter. Knocked out of bounds by John McCormick.
Had a little gadget on that time.
Doug Marsh, the tight end, came across on the screen and leveled Rick Milheiser to get Carter started. But he ran out of real estate right about the 29. Second down, 4. Had a little movement on the left side of the line, and that'll get a flag. Looked like Bubba Paris started to move before the snap. Left tackle.
Once you're down in the three-point stance as an offensive lineman, you cannot move. You got to stay right there. It'll be a procedure penalty.
North Carolina State beating Auburn. Alabama's running up to 14 zip now. That's the first penalty against the Michigan Wolverines in the ball game today. State has absorbed one as well. That was a face mask call. There's your procedure signal from Gene Calhoun. North Carolina coming back to get the lead over Cincinnati. Indiana over Wisconsin 3-0. Second down, 8. Dickey looking downfield and throws it out of bounds. He had Marsh and Carter going down the same direction. Carter deep, Marsh short. Might have been able to loop it in there to Marsh.
Yeah, if he had thrown it sooner, he hung onto the ball too long. By the time Marsh ran out of some field there, he overthrew him. If he hit Marsh early, they'd had a big gainer.
Brian Clark, number 14, warming up on the sidelines. He's the second quarterback for Michigan State, son of Monty Clark. Third down, 8. Give it to Edwards. Stan Edwards runs to the 29. Anderson got there a little bit late for Michigan State, sliding into the stack, but he pulled his head up and didn't get flagged for it.
Now what are you going to do? It's fourth down. The field goal kicker has not had one in the last 9 attempts.
Going to try here, though.
Yep, he's going to go. He's going to go for a field goal.
I'll tell you right now, Virgil needs one for confidence.
Okay,
for a little peace and calm in Ann Arbor.
The percentages are in his favor anyway. The odds are, I should say.
Yeah, but it's 46 yards. That's a pretty good bite. His longest is 30 yards. Jackson will put it down. That snap. It's short. Jackson seemed to get it down on the tee pretty well, but the snap came skidding back to him. And the field goal try is short, and Michigan State gets the ball. Michigan missing on its field goal. Michigan State gets the ball back just inside its 29-yard line with 2 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the first half. The Wolverines leading 7-0. The Michigan State offense has been pretty spotty so far. Big plays have been broken to the tailbacks, and each one of them coming really on a sprint draw. Vaughn has not been effective so far in the game in the air. He gives the ball to Steve Smith. Smith out to the 30. A yard and a half before Ron Simpkins makes the tackle. There's the season story on the field goal kickers for Michigan, but that last kicker, effort was not the problem with the kicker at all, because the ball came bouncing back to the holder, Jackson. He was able to get it down all right from 46 yards. The kick was on target, but it was short. Remember, the Turgovac, the man who does the snapping, is not there today because of a broken hand. Vaughn now 1 out of 7 for 6 yards and 1 interception in the ball game. Minute and a half to play in the first half. Burt's going to put it up. Set up a screen for the fullback, Schramm. Schramm's got a first down, and he runs out of bounds just outside the 45-yard line. Needham was coming like a runaway truck that time. And Schramm turns the screen into a good play.
Most successful plays that the Spartans have had thus far is the sprint draw and the screen. Here you see Vaughn go back. A good fake here. It's well set up. Good blocking in front. And a first down.
At the 45-yard line of Michigan State. Minute 21 to play, first half. Smith, the tailback. He's up to the 49. Dale Owens shirt-tailed him and brought him down. Smith now 7 carries, 58 yards in the ball game. Stanley Edwards of Michigan getting close to 100. He's 87 so far. Clock is running. Inside a minute now.
Michigan State has 2 timeouts left. They'll probably go for a bomb here.
Second down 5. Vaughn has Bird, doesn't see him.
Uh-oh.
That may be a fumble. It is a fumble. Andy Canavino knocked it loose. And the football will be given to Michigan at the 47-yard line. Mel Owens picked it up on the bounce. He had Bird wide open on the right sidelines and didn't see him. And as he turned back to the left, Mel Owens caught it on the bounce after Canavino knocked it loose. 33 seconds to go in the first half.
Next Saturday, one of college football's hottest rivalries. Oklahoma, paced by Heisman Trophy winner Billy Sims, battles the Texas Longhorns on ABC.
Vision is so important for a quarterback. This is Eugene Bird, wide receiver. Look how free he is on the right side of the field, but Vaughn never looked that way.
He was keying on Brammer, I should say, the tight end, going right up the field. Vaughn kept his eyes focused on him, and of course, before he could get rid of it, he was hit and fumbled.
And John Wengler comes in at quarterback. He almost dropped it himself. As Michigan gets the ball just outside the 47, the handoff goes to Stanley Edwards, and Stan gets back just about to the line of scrimmage, and time is called now by Michigan. They have 2 remaining with 26 seconds to play in the first half. And let's have a look at one of the great campuses in this country.
The University of Michigan, 45,000 students on 3 campuses and a tradition of service. For example, the nation's first university-owned teaching hospital opened at the UM in 1869. Today, the vast UM Medical Center trains 6,000 health science students a year and serves 7,000 patients a week. And by the mid-1980s, a new university hospital will be helping UM researchers, teachers, and practitioners prepare for medical challenges of the 21st century.
All right, Michigan trying to get something going here and get on down where they can get another point or 2 on the board. With 26 seconds to play in the first half, they've been pretty well in control of the football game so far. Michigan State's been beating itself. Their last 2 possessions have ended in turnovers. 47-yard line, second down 10. Wengler options it, turns it, and gets to about the 48 before Bernard Hay, number 93, 234-pound junior middle guard, takes him down. Clock stops again at 16 seconds. The Wolverines take another time.
Interesting, the strategic minds that are bannering back and forth across the sidelines. Spartans obviously anticipating the Wolverines to put the ball up here with just a few seconds to go in the half. And Bo Schembechler on the other side of the coin coming in with a sprint draw, figuring they're deploying, and then the option.
That's what's on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Coming up next, highlights of the Larry Holmes, Sugar Ray Leonard knockout victories, World Speedway Motorcycle Championships. That young man's name is Cam Hunter. He's 13 years of age from Ionia, Michigan. 3rd year as a football manager, but that's not really what I want to tell you about him. He's 13 years old, mind you. He is a junior at Michigan State University in zoology pre-med major. He's carrying 14 hours. He skipped from the 1st grade to the 9th, went through his 4 years of high school. His dad is a pharmacist at the veterinary clinic here at Michigan State, and he's truly a remarkable youngster. And he's a very charming, nice youngster who works his tail off as the manager for the football team. And he is a junior at 13 years of age at Michigan State University in pre-med. It's marvelous. Stanley Edwards on his way. Penalty flag thrown back upfield. Edwards tumbles out of bounds, stopping the clock. 9 seconds to play in the first half. Let's see about the penalty flag. It was thrown up around the 46. And Schembechler's out on the field, waving his arms and yelling. Looks like a hold call against Michigan. I believe Bo's arguing that There was an additional foul against Michigan State, but that does not get the call.
I haven't seen the signal yet. So
Gene
15.
Calhoun backs it off against Michigan. I'm pretty sure I saw one of the officials indicate holding. Yep.
There it is.
9 seconds to play in the first half.
Let's see. See if we can see it.
There's no indication of any face mask. Maybe Bo felt it was a hit out of bounds. Edwards with the ball on third down. This will be the last play of the first half. And Edwards may run a long way and run out of time before the clock expires, but that'll do it as time runs out in the first half, and the Michigan Wolverines lead the Michigan State Spartans by a score of 7-0. Bill Fleming now to talk with the Michigan coach, Bo Schembechler.
Coach, has it gone just about like you thought it would?
No, not at all. I thought we'd have a little more consistency offensively, and don't mention the other aspect of my football, will you?
You mean the kicking? You're still concerned about it?
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
Now, wait a minute. Before you go, that drive, that 96-yard drive was a masterpiece.
Yeah, we did a good job on that drive, and we should be moving more consistently. We got to do a better job second half, Bill.
Well, how about defense?
Well, defense is good. They make the big plays. We put them in bad field position a couple of times, and they pulled us out. But they've done that all year.
Okay, good luck. Quick word from Bo Schembechler, and we'll be back with more halftime activities here at Spartan Stadium right after this special word about an upcoming network program. The Spartan Stadium here in East Lansing with the head coach of the Spartans, Darrell Rogers. Darrell, we got a comment from Bo at the end of the first half. We'd like to hear your impressions of the first half.
What did he say?
Well, he wasn't happy with his team despite the 7-0 lead.
Well, we aren't either. We feel that we're in a good position right now as long as we can get the offense in track. Birch had a little problem, but I think we'll come back. As long as we can get the ball completed, we'll be in good shape.
Their option play seemed to be the thing that carried them to a 7-0 lead.
Well, it did. At the first, we tried to get one type of containment on it, and we changed it in the second quarter, and we were much better then. And so we'll probably use that containment in the second half.
Okay. Best of luck, Coach. All right, those comments from Darrell Rogers. We're just about ready to play football, so let's go back upstairs to Keith Jackson and Ara Parsegian.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. I like Darrell Rogers. He's a loose, easygoing guy, doesn't put pressure on his people. Alabama, big lead at halftime. Their troops are rolling along. They had 66 last week. Oklahoma now is beginning to stretch it out against Colorado. We'll see the Sooners next week against the Longhorns of Texas. Nebraska, big winner last week over Penn State, rolling along. And you saw the team, Ara. You seem to think this is a football team that's capable of bidding for a national championship.
Really did look good. They put Hager in there, a new quarterback, and they did an outstanding job. They finally got their passing game going, which they had trouble with.
We're ready to go with the second half of play. In to kick the ball, in to receive the ball is Anthony Carter. He's the man they'd like to run the ball back. Morten Andersen, a sophomore from Denmark, will be out kicking it off the tee. Notre Dame leading Georgia Tech 14-7. 7 of Anderson's kickoffs this year have been out of the end zone. So he hasn't given people a whole lot of opportunity to run kicks back against Michigan State. He's the second successive Dane they've had here as a place kicker. Hans Nielsen being the other, and it was Hans who helped talk this young man into coming to Michigan State, and it's goodbye. It's out of the county. He's got a real leg whip on that thing when he comes downfield with it. So he knocks it beyond the field of play. The Michigan Wolverines will have the football first down at the 20, leading by a score of 7-0. We anticipate they'll open as they did at the top of the ball game with Dickey at quarterback, Edwards the tailback, Reed at fullback. The wide men are Clayton and Mitchell. The offensive front, much the same, with George Lilja in at center, flanked by Arbesnik, Becker, Moransky, Paris, and Marsh. First down at the 20. Stanley Edwards on the first carry, and he is hit right at the 20-yard line and hit hard by Mark Anderson, the safety. Coming up, the Michigan State defensive front. Let's meet these young men. Tanya Webb from Arkansas. There's Bernard Hay, the middle guard. Pat Mitten at tackle. He's a freshman. Larry Savage, by John McCormick are your outside linebackers. Dan Bass, who started every game for 4 years here, and Steve Otis are the inside linebackers. Second down and 10 for Michigan at the 20. Edwards again, and Stanley gets to the 23. There he stops, with Hay and Mitten making the tackle. The defensive secondary for the Michigan State Spartans are Van Williams. He is out of Florida at a cornerback. Burrows, the other cornerback who blocked the kick in the first half. Milheiser, the safety, and Anderson, a safety. They play strong and weak positions from their safety spots. Edwards now is over 100 yards and 107 on 16 carries today. It is third down and 6 for Michigan. Going to double it up. Carter drops the ball and has to cover it back at the 20-yard line. So Anthony Carter had the ball get loose on a reverse, and it brings up fourth down. And once again, the much maligned Michigan kicking game is going to be put in the kitchen. There are the numbers at halftime.
You can see that Michigan dominated in the total yardage category, and certainly that was represented by that long 96-yard touchdown drive they put on. Playing time, they've had the ball a little bit longer. First downs a little bit more, but they've got a half to play.
Here's the punt now with Hughes and Smith deep for Michigan State. Kick is away. That's a pretty good punt. Hughes backs up to his 38. Derrick looking for some help and just simply doesn't find any. And suddenly Brian Virgil, starting the second half, hits a 41-yard punt with good hang time and good coverage. And we've got a Michigan player shaken up on the field. Down below, number 32, that is Stan Edwards, the tailback. In punt coverage, he was hit and hurt coming downfield. Boy, I'll tell you, that would be quite a loss to this Michigan football team if that is a serious injury. So we've got a timeout for the injured player with 12 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Michigan State has the ball. Go back and look at that fumble by Carter when it looked like he had a lot of daylight and open territory coming across.
This is the punt return.
That's the punt
here.
return, yeah.
Let's see where Edwards gets hurt. Right there's 32. Let's see what happens here.
Just got buried by his own people.
Yeah.
Ran off the field, but he's all right. Okay, 45-yard line. Michigan State, good field position. Vaughn gives it to Steve Smith. Smith to the outside. And he's a good one. He goes tearing all the way down to the Michigan 40-yard line. Grabenhorst was out in front of him. Got him turned around the corner. Now Smith with 72 yards in the ball game on 8 carries. The point we're seeking to make with that Carter fumble that denied him the room. He had a tremendous amount of room to run if he had not fumbled the ball. That's the offensive backfield now for Michigan State as they come out with a first down just inside the Wolverine 40. That's the offensive front for the Spartans. And I have Eugene Bird, who's been quiet today. Been open a couple of times, but Vaughn has not been able to pick him up. Again, this play, it's Derek Hughes carrying the ball, and Hughes slips and falls and then goes down under Curtis Greer. There's Edwards down on the field, and they are working on the left arm. Maybe the arm, maybe the shoulder. There's a penalty flag on the field. We have a personal foul called against Michigan, and there's a personal foul called against Michigan State. So you have dead ball off. Well, you can't offsetting the penalties. There's no point in him walking it off here. The way the rule reads, if you have a 5-yard penalty one way and 15 the other, it would be a net of 10 yards on the foul. Ron Simpkins, number 40, is involved here with number 53, Angelo Field, and they get a little mixed up. That's one call, as you see the flag falling, and the other, I think, involved Greer and Derek Hughes. So we'll go right back to where we were. It's second down, and Vaughn puts it up. He throws the ball complete to Jim Williams, number 85. Williams is run out of bounds at the 30-yard line. He's just a notch or two short of his first down. Jim Williams, a junior out of San Diego, California. Ball is right just outside the 30. And they need a little less than a yard with third down coming up.
Didn't look like much of a play, just a quick little out. It grabbed 9 yards.
Hughes has the first down as he plunges to about the 28 of Michigan. So here are the Spartans with an opportunity to get something going early in the second half. Let us check in with Bill.
Look at maybe a possible upset here today as Minnesota at halftime is leading Purdue 10-7. Marion Barber carried it in. He'd been playing a little bit hurt, as you remember. So at halftime now, the Golden Gophers out in front of the Boilers.
And first down here for Michigan State. Let's call it the 29, a little closer there than the 28. Tailback Smith to the 25. Ron Simpkins, number 40. Chris Godfrey, number 90, on the play.
The Spartans have been down in here before. What has happened, well, here's another score up here, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech, 14-10. They're hanging in there.
Second and 7.
Make it second down and a short 7 or a long 6 from outside the 25 for Michigan State. Fullback. Graham inside the 20 to the 19. Oh, the big junior from Findlay, Ohio, pops it over the left side, running behind Wiska and Foster. The Navy score. But John Anderson's got the Brown Bears pretty well organized now after that opening loss to Yale. Third down, less than a yard. Smith going for the first down, gets the first down as he hits the 15-yard line. Goes inside the 15. Mel Owens on the tackle for Michigan. Now the Spartans are showing a little more decisiveness, a little more pop in their offense.
They're running with more authority, and in the first half, when they were down in here deep, they committed their own problems by fumbles and balls in attempts to throw that was shaken loose from Bert Vaughn. Let's see if they can hold on to it here.
Use a tailback, slam the fullback. Fullback slam up the middle, goes to the 10-yard line. Well, they're finding a little soft spot in the middle of the Michigan defense here.
Well, it's the spot where injured Mike Turgerback has been replaced by Dale Kite, who actually played a pretty good first half. There were a couple of occasions where they did the same thing. Spartans did hit him in the middle there.
Middleton fullback, Smith tailback. Second down at the 10. Smith. 6-yard line. Harden and Bremen brought him down for Michigan.
Here we see the center, Matt Foster, doing a number here. You can see him walled off tight, and that's the reason they got another 3 or 4 yards.
Goal line defense is now in for Michigan. Michigan State calls a timeout with the football sitting at the 6-yard line. Third down and 2. 9:01 to play. Third quarter. Michigan leads 7-0. There's the chain marker. Third down, about 2 yards to go. The football is at the Michigan 6 in possession of Michigan State. Spartans trying to get it in here and tie the score in the third quarter. 3rd and 2. Hughes the tailback. He's got the first down. He's got a touchdown.
Got it.
Out comes Morton Anderson for the extra point try. He's hit 40 in a row. Left-footed kicker. He could tie it up at 8:57 to go. The kick's up. The kick's good. Wiska, Betta, Ravenhorse, Foster. The 4 big dudes up front that opened the door for a good effort by Derek Hughes. Have another look at it, and it's the second effort that paid off.
Hughes really runs it in here. Come to a goal line defense, and see number 55, Kites, is blocked clear across the hole. Look at that running by Hughes. He was not to be denied. Even the official had to get out of his way.
So the big long-legged youngster from Charleston, South Carolina, puts it in the end zone, and here's the hole that Michigan State seemingly has found in the Michigan defense right here.
As a result of an injury, a tackle has had to be moved into the nose man. You see here that they're double teaming him. He flows with the play, and you see Derek Hughes running behind him with real authority. He runs right through. I cannot see that number, but he was not going to be denied.
And so at 8:57 to go, third quarter, we're all even, tied at 7. And Anderson now gets ready to kick off for Michigan State. The deep men for Michigan will be Stanley Edwards, 32, Anthony Carter, number 1. High hanging kick to the goal line. Edwards looking for the wall, almost a face mask. Somebody grabbed him over there, but pulled his hand away in time to avoid it. It was Anthony Ellis that almost got nipped with a face mask fall there. As Anthony was coming down, he was just grabbing whatever he could get a hold of. Edwards comes back to the 16-yard line, where it'll be first down for Michigan. That's pretty good kick coverage there, because that ball hung up so long by Anderson.
And he tried to run from the right side of the field to the left while the coverage was continuing down. It's a good drive here by the Spartans.
E.J. Dickey is the quarterback. He's got it on an option to Edwards. And a little bit of coverage now as Anderson, Mark Anderson, and Rick Milhauser, the 2 safety men, react quite well and put a little more pressure on the option play.
There's what Darrell Rogers was talking about. Early in the first half, the option was being run successfully. He has changed the defensive concept as to who forces the pitch and who takes the trailing man and the quarterback, and they have done it very successfully thus far since they've made the defensive change.
Stan Edwards, 17 carries, 111 yards. The ball is just short of the 20. Second down and 7. Dickey looking for a receiver. Goes over the middle with it. It's incomplete.
No.
Almost intercepted. Almost intercepted by Steve Otis.
Oh, I thought he had that.
Tipped it up. Otis had a shot at it. Here's the play.
Ball just overthrown here by Dickey. Gene Calhoun, the referee, who was back in the Dickey area, apparently sees that the ball is not completed, or intercepted, I should say. It's deflected off of Edwards' hands, knocked away, and it looks like he has the ball. Oh, it hit the ground.
Bernard Hay that almost got it.
Yep.
Bernard Hay. Third down, 7. Fullback Reed. Out to the 24. Michigan will have to kick.
Well, you got Bernard Hay. The nose man cannot rush the passer. Winds up turning around on the pass. Tries to knock it down. Comes back. When Edwards deflected the ball, he almost makes the interception.
Got yellow laundry or something. It's not penalty flags. It's pads or something are being thrown out on the field. I don't know exactly where they're coming from.
Will they come after it again?
Well, they got 9 up there. Ears laid back. And they don't get much of a rush. And again, Virgil hits a pretty good kick. It runs Hughes back to the 34. Derek can't find any help to get anything going back there. It's a 42-yard punt this time. The ball is returned to around the 39, and that's where Michigan State will go to work.
Cole has to be pleased with that punt.
And Mike Lamarin made the stop for Michigan.
Monday night, Miami Dolphins and the Oakland Raiders.
First down,
9 Eastern time on ABC's presentation of NFL Monday Night Football. The Dolphins and the Raiders. This Raider club is one of those clubs right now that you want to be wary of because they haven't had things going too well for them so far this year. The talent is there. Michigan State from its 34 give the ball to Smith. Steve Smith, he is really quick. Great acceleration once he hits that line of scrimmage. And he's out to the 47 on the carry. Here's Bill.
Got an upset in the making here, Keith. Tennessee, going for its 4th straight win, is trailing Mississippi State 14-3. And, of course, the Bulldogs have only won 1 of 3 so far. So we'll keep you up to date on that one.
Like Emory Ballard's getting that wishbone organized down there with the Bulldogs in Starkville, doesn't it? 6:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down, yard and a half for a 1st down. And Smith has it. Boy, he isn't going anywhere that time. There was a real pop put on him by number 55, Dale Kites. They pushed old Dale around a little, but every once in a while he must be getting his hackles up.
The one thing that they've been doing here in this second half, and I'm talking about the Spartan offensive line, has been controlling the line of scrimmage, that drive of 55 yards. Here they are double-teaming Greer. You can see him driving him clear off the line of scrimmage. And, of course, the supporting cast keeps that from being a 1st down.
3rd down, 2. Fullback Middleton, he's got the 1st down as he goes to the Michigan 48-yard line. So Lonnie Middleton out of Orangeburg, South Carolina, a senior, hasn't been called on to do a whole lot of running this today, blocking mainly. Look at Auburn. War Eagles woke up, didn't they?
Good running. He kept his feet. Defense of Michigan pinched to the inside, and he just read it and weaved to the outside for the 1st down.
1st down at the 48 of Michigan. 7-7 tie, 5:35 to go, 3rd quarter. Smith again. Godfrey, number 90, is there. So is number 28. Mark Bremen, number 40, Ron Simpkins. Smith now with 99 yards on 13 carries. Ball is put at the 45.
Well, the thing that the Spartans are doing to Michigan is something that few teams have been able to do, and that's control the line of scrimmage and run the football against them.
Hughes in a tailback now. 2nd down, 7. Hughes has it. 2 yards to the 43.
That one was just a little too slow developing. That was not as quick as the other plays that they've run. And that defense had enough time to swarm to it.
It'll be interesting to see if the Michigan State Spartans change their cadence. Their cadence has been a long count pretty much through the whole ball game. 3rd down. About 5. Tailback trying to run that sprint draw that time, nothing doing. Andy Canavino out of Cleveland nails him for a loss, and it'll bring up 4th down, and Stakowitz comes on the punt. 3:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. Michigan gets the ball back. We're all even at 7. Stakowitz punts today, 55, 30, 47, 30. But those 2 30-yard punts may be a little misleading because he hit the ball out of bounds on each occasion, or hung it up there.
He may go for the right corner here, too, Keith. He's got a lot of talent. He's got plenty of distance, and I'll bet he angles for that right corner. On to the left.
In the end zone. And he stomps over it, was trying to hook it over to the left side, but it drops in, and Michigan gets the ball back at its own 20. Baseball underway, top of the 3rd inning, no score. 4th game between Baltimore and California, American League Championship Series. Michigan with the ball. Stanley Edwards on a carry. Breaks it out to the 23, pick up of 3 yards, 3:25 to go, 3rd quarter. And the score tied at 7-7. Of course, we'll have the World Series for you starting next Tuesday right here on ABC. The series begins in the American League City. You're going to wear that one out, aren't you? Second down and 7. Fullback Roosevelt Smith hits it up across the 25 to the 26.
49, Dan Bass.
And it's going to bring up third down and just about 4 yards.
Spartans have kept the Wolverines pinned down in their own territory in this third quarter. Generated their own good field position. This is a big down for Michigan.
Go to the tailback, and look at that running by Stanley Edwards as he gets it up across the 30 to the 31, and he gets his first down.
Boy, that was good running. It was the only thing that really got the first down. There wasn't any blocking at the point of attack. And you can watch here as Edwards keeps spinning away. Weaves it clear back there. He makes a one-man, two-man. The third man finally gets him.
At the 31, first down, Michigan. Big day for Edwards. Dickey still got it. Now he goes to Edwards. And coming across is the safety man, Anderson, to get him. That's the second tackle that Anderson has made on that option play here in the third quarter. So it's obvious that the coaching staff said to Anderson, he's your man. When you see that tailback coming down on the option, you go get him.
Well, he's a great football player, and you can see they've changed their coverage. When you get this kind of secondary support, you don't get the big gainers down the sideline that Michigan had in the first half. Here comes Anderson up. And instead of being a long gainer, it's only about 2.5 yards.
Second down, 8. Dickey to throw it. Going deep down the middle for Clayton. First time he's seen the ball. He's got it. He's on his way for a touchdown. He's got it. Touchdown. Clayton, first time he's seen the ball all day. In the first half, I'm surprised that they haven't given the ball to Clayton, but suddenly there he was on the home run down the middle for 66 yards for the touchdown, and the Wolverines are back on top 13-7, going for the extra point here out of Tony Jackson's hole. Brian Virgil the sixth.
Boy, that came out of nowhere.
Hey, way to go! Hey, way to go!
Kicking is good. 1:13 to play in the third quarter. Here's the touchdown play.
Take a look at it here. Dickey fakes the ball to the fullback, comes back, finds Clayton open right down the seam, and guess who? It's Anderson, who had supported so rapidly on the previous play, and give a big credit to the Michigan sideline for calling that play. There's Clayton again, who's come straight up the field. The fake held Anderson long enough to give Clayton leverage in the secondary. Here he comes back. If he'd have turned, he might have been able to knock this ball down. But he was looking at Clayton. Misses the tackle, and 7 big ones for Michigan.
That's his first touchdown of the year.
Well, you've been calling for him all day.
Yeah.
It must have hurt you, Keith.
He's a great player. He really is. Fine young man. Averaging 17.8 yards per catch. Sure, he's a home run hitter. So at 1:13 to go in the third quarter, Michigan 14, Michigan State 7. Archie Sheik kicks it off for the Wolverines. It'll go to Smith. And Smith comes roaring back to the 32-yard line. A 27-yard return.
Okay, he's one heck of a back.
He really is.
Woo. Good one. What was he averaging? 38 point something on kickoff return? I guess we can understand it.
Great acceleration. Gives him a little daylight. He's really popped you.
And 13, Keith Bostic.
Vaughn, the quarterback. Spartans impressive in the last possession with a touchdown. See what they can do this time. Vaughn to throw it. Throws it away. Pass intended for Jim Williams. I get the feeling that he's only seeing one receiver.
Well, the thing about it is that I'm surprised they had been controlling the ball so well, running it well. They come right back out after a big score and try to get it all back very rapidly, and the strong suit of this third period for them has been their ability to control the line of scrimmage and run, and they come right back. Now they got 2nd and 10 instead of possibly 2nd and 5.
Tailback Derek Hughes, and he's up to the 38 before Canavino brings him down with 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Now they're going to be looking at 3rd down at about 4 yards. Baltimore has jumped to a 2-0 lead in the top of the 3rd inning in the American League Championship Series. Half a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down, 4 for Michigan State. Middle the fullback, cut down by Chris Godfrey. Defensive right tackle for Michigan, and the Spartans will have to kick it away.
In the lineup for Michigan State.
Clock is winding. 3rd quarter will expire before the kick. After this message from one of our sponsors and station identification. We'll go to the final 15 minutes of this 72nd ball game between Michigan and Michigan State. It is 4th down for the Spartans. The ball is sitting at their 38. Ray Stakowicz in the kick, averaging 41.6 on 5 punts. A good deal of pressure from Curtis Greer. Pretty good kick away to Jolly. And Mike Jolly brings it back to about the 33-yard line, where the Wolverines will have it, a 37-yard punt. And Greer really came whistling in to put the pressure on. World Series starts next Tuesday night at 8 Eastern Time in the American League City. Wednesday night, 8 Eastern Time. Thursday's the day for travel, then Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and if Game 6 and 7 are necessary, they go back to a night game on Tuesday and a day game on Wednesday, October 17th. Numbers in the ball game after 3 quarters shown there. Here we go with Michigan 1st down at the 33-yard line. Give it away to Stanley Edwards. He goes up over the top of the stack and gets about 4 yards.
Say one thing, we've looked at 2 good running backs, actually 3 good running backs this afternoon. We got Edwards for the Wolverines, and both Smith and Hughes of Michigan State really thumped in there.
14:25 to play in the ball game. Wolverines sitting on a 14-7 lead. They have the ball. 2nd down, 6. Give it away to the fullback, and Lawrence Reed just banging away, 223-pounder. He really wraps up the ball. He almost lost it a couple of times in the 1st half, but he had both arms on it that time.
Slow now, back. Come on, now. Make your move now, offense.
Both teams 3-1 coming into this ball game, both having lost to Notre Dame. Both teams 1-0 in conference play. Michigan State won last year. 3rd down, 2. Dickey keeps it, doesn't get it.
No.
B.J. Dickey turned upfield. He ran right into number 52, Steve Otis. Down he went. That'll bring in the Michigan kicking team on 4th down. While we're waiting for the punt, I'd like to tell those who don't know it, and the young man had an awful lot of friends because he traveled all over the world and was a very good friend of ours at ABC Sports. Worked hard, creative, died this week. Young man named Lauren Hassan. So we grieve the loss of Lauren. Kick is away. It is a long hanger that tumbles into the end zone. Virgil really busted that one. Michigan State peeled off and they were coming after him. But Virgil responds with a 58-yard punt. Michigan State's ball, 1st down at the 20.
And how about those Golden Gophers? Tom Murphy recovered a fumbled punt by Tony Hill in the end zone, and Minnesota now has a 10-point lead with 13 minutes to go in the third quarter against the Boilermakers of Purdue. What a topsy-turvy Big Ten race this may turn out to be.
Could be for a fact. Michigan State with its own problems right here in East Lansing, trailing by 7 points. First down at the 20. Vaughn to throw it. Throws it to Bird. Bird has it at the 31-yard line. So they finally found him.
Well, he's been there all day. Finally took advantage. Bird has been a wide receiver. Will take the run action pass. Jolly, number 16, is in coverage. Bird comes down, gets a little turnout. You see, he's open here. He has been most of the afternoon. So I'll guarantee you this, Michigan will change their coverage. They're not going to give that to him the whole drive down this field.
But he is so quick, you've got to give him a little room. You can't get too close to him or he'll just hit your pocket. Fullback Schramm. At the first down at the 31, Schramm goes to the 34. You're looking at 2nd and 7 for the Spartans with 12:20 to play in the ball game.
One of the things you got to be impressed with today in college football, certainly, is the big men that they're in the trenches. You take a look at the offensive line people, as Angelo Fields is about 290 to 300 pounds, and you've got Gravenhorst at 267. There's no little folks around to play anymore.
Vaughn looks and looks, throws an interception. Stu Harris, double coverage downfield on Bird. Harris picks it off, and the Wolverines get the ball back. Second interception, third turnover.
Excellent coverage. Vaughn didn't have much option here. He was trying to throw the ball down the right sideline, turned and tried to throw clear down the field. Watch here now as he looks to his split end first. See him looking here. He wants to hit him on the up. He's covered. He turns and throws it back down the left sideline, and of course you see the interception.
He had better part of a little more than 3 seconds to look about and choose, and he didn't have a whole lot of options. What he should have done was thrown that one in the crowd, because
Stuart Harris comes over and picks it off.
No chance to burst. So the Wolverines have the ball. First down at their own 33-yard line. Edwards, the tailback. Squirts over the right side. Gets about 5 yards. 132 yards today. There's Stu Harris, who made the interception for the Wolverines.
Hi, Dad. He was hurt. Harris missed the last 2 games. An injury, and I'm sure Bo is glad to have him back.
Yeah. Carter comes out as a wide man to the left. Clayton to the right. Second down. Edwards hits the line of scrimmage. Strength and velocity gets him 2, maybe 3 as he goes across the 40 to the 41. It'll be third down and 2.
Ball's over there at the same spot it was. Third down and same yardage. Let's see whether they make it or not. You see, Michigan State has 3 turnovers to none for Michigan, and that has been a big story here.
Savage out, Haynes in, changed defensively for Michigan State. Outside linebacking position or defensive end, if you like. Tailback Edwards. Cuts it back against the grain, gets the first down as he goes to the 45. Dan Bass, the tackle, with Bernard Hay, 93. Timeout, Edwards taken up. Oklahoma now drilling Colorado 35-7. That's the second time today that Stan Edwards has not gotten up after a play.
Hey, he's been a real workhorse.
Timeout, 14-7 Michigan. We'll be right back. And Edwards on the sidelines. He's got an injured elbow. And he touched it in that one spot. He really yelped. So it looks like it might be a hyperextension. That's the second time that elbow has been banged up. It's first down for Michigan. Dickey Pitches the ball back to the tailback in relief of Edwards is Larry Ricks, number 46, freshman from Barberton, Ohio. And Alabama over Wichita State. Purdue has struck back to get a touchdown and now trails by 3 at Minnesota. Ohio State had a pretty good ball game from Northwestern, didn't they? 16-7. And Virginia Tech finally getting the lead over Wake Forest. Kansas leading Syracuse at halftime. Mike Swanson and Jerry Klein, a pair of Jayhawkers up here, rooting for the Kansans. Handoff goes inside to Reed, the fullback. And Reed now down at the 47. So it'll be 3rd down and 2.
Cutting a donut there to put on Edwards.
Ball on the State, 47. 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2. Nicky, the option is smothered behind the line of scrimmage. Number 57, Larry Savage, outside linebacker, drops him at midfield. And so Michigan will have to punt it away. And we've got a Wolverine down on the field.
I'll tell you, they really committed themselves. Larry Savage, number 57, shaking off, looks like Marsh. But they're putting on an aggressive defense with everybody coming. He had no chance on that option play. There were just too many green shirts.
Amos Marsh, the tight end, was the man shaking on the play. He's walking off the field. Not Amos, Doug Marsh. Amos Marsh. My gosh, there's the name out of the pass. The ball is at the 49-yard line with 9:01 to play in the ball game. Virgil in the punt. His last 3, he's gone 41, 42, 58. No pressure. Kick is away. It's a good kick. Smith lets it go, and it goes into the end zone. And Michigan State will get the ball. First down at the 20. It was a 49-yard kick. Tomorrow, ABC News presents Pope John Paul II, Washington, Mass. Live coverage, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Right here on most of these ABC stations.
Dr. Art Schultz. Dr. Arthur.
Well, the Georgia Tech team has come back now to trail Notre Dame by just a point. They got a 22-yard field goal by Johnny Smith, and we still have 7:50 to go in the 3rd quarter in that one.
A good little scuffle in South Bend. Bert Vaughn, the quarterback, gives the ball to Smith. Smith gets 2 yards, and that's all Steve can find over the left side.
Looks like he tripped over his own offensive lineman there. He was trying to weave it back.
He's going to have 100 yards pretty shortly, Era, because he's carried 15 times and picked up 98.
And he's been in and out of there substituting with Derrick.
2nd and 7.
That's the pass from this formation.
Vaughn, plenty of time, goes over the middle for Bird, and it's incomplete.
Vaughn's pass intended for
Eugene Bird going over the middle, long. Mark Bramer, the tight end, coming across the middle, short.
Got him open there momentarily. See Bird with Jolly in coverage again. The last time he ran an out pattern on him. Jolly puts his hands on him, starts to trail him across. Some kind of man coverage, but he's got him beat there. It was been a tough catch, but he had a chance at it.
3rd and 7.
Vaughn now 4 for 13 for 39 yards, 2 interceptions. Defense shifting around as State goes back into the I formation, give the ball to Steve Smith. And Smith is out to the 24. That's all. And it's kicking time for Stachowicz.
Made the tackle. Number 19.
Little mental gyrations going on. They went to the split backs, which they've normally dropped back from and screened and drawed, came back to the tailback action. And you could see that Michigan is a well-coached defensive team. They adjusted immediately.
Mike Jolly, number 16.
Curtis Greer now trying to mount something of a rush. as the kick is out of there by Stakowicz. It takes a state bounce and goes out of bounds and went out about the 29-yard line. So Stakowicz hits a 47-yarder. 7:29 to play in the game. Pressure is now on the Michigan State defense to hold the Wolverines, get the ball back for the offense. Wolverines first down. Dickey is the quarterback. Woolfolk the tailback. Stanley Edwards, sore elbow. Woolfolk is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Ripping in is Tanya Webb, defensive left tackle, number 98.
He's played a good football game. He's been involved in a lot of action. A lot of penetration that time.
Carter and Clayton both come wide left. Second 11. Woolfolk the tailback. Nothing doing. Out about the line of scrimmage. George Cooper, outside linebacker, a sophomore from Detroit, makes the stop. Bo Schembechler sends in the play.
Well, let's see if he'll try to go for the first down by putting it in the air or whether he plays it conservative and tries to punt it on fourth down if he doesn't make it.
Dickey's pass, good. Pass is complete to midfield to Ralph Clayton, number 22, who caught the 66-yard bomb for the touchdown. 6:10 to play in the ball game. The Wolverines keep it for 4 more.
Hey, that was a well-executed play. And Dickey put it in there. Here's Clayton. Comes into the seam here. He's waiting for the ball. And Dickey did have some action on the ball. He really zipped it in there. That was a big play. And they're going to bleed a lot of time off the clock as well as field position.
Clayton's only caught 2 today, but they're for 88 yards total. Fullback Reed, a couple of yards. And the clock is rolling along at 5:45. Bulldogs of Yale won today at 20-0. Brown beat Princeton. Columbia beat Pennsylvania. Quakers have had a rough start this year. Pittsburgh defeating Boston College 28-7. Boston U beating Harvard. Backyard battle there. Second down 8 from the 48 of Michigan State. Outside it goes for Woolfolk. Hard runner. He's belted out of bounds short of his first down at the 42. Mike Decker, inside linebacker. Senior out of Roseville, Michigan, doing the job. Duke and Army. 17 sister kisser there. Doesn't do a whole lot for producer Chuck Howard. Well, the old Blue Devil fan.
Oh, gee, that's too bad.
42-10, Oklahoma now over Colorado. They see the Sooners next week against Texas at the Cotton Bowl. 42-yard line, third down 2. Woolfolk. I don't know if they pinned him or not.
Depends on where he marks it.
Going to mark him just short of it, I think. There's the time remaining.
See that guy's eyes? That's football.
It'll be 4th down. And just inches away. All right, Coach, what do you do?
Well, Bo is over there. He doesn't want to punt it. He's going to go for it. I tell you, it's a big decision.
Marianne Larner. Marianne Larner. Please report to the police information held under Section 7.
He may try to draw him offside also. You don't know. Let's see if he goes on a long count.
At the 40. Less than a yard.
Well, the implications are obvious here. So is the 4-10.
See see where he marks it.
Looks to me like the line judge is going to mark it across the 40. If he does, that'll do it.
Boy, it's close.
Reed, the fullback, muscling in.
Yeah, he gave it to him.
Nothing Orioles now over California, top of the fourth. Tailback Woolfolk on first down from the 40 is brought down at the 41 for a yard loss. And it's Steve Otis, Pat Mitten making the play for Michigan State with 4:35 to play. And here's Bill.
And with 3:25 to go in the third quarter, look at this. The Golden Gophers have scored 24-14. Marion Barber getting his second touchdown of the day after a 61-yard drive. And so a big upset, more imminent every moment, Keith.
Smokey Joel bringing those Gophers back after they were just really whipped out on the West Coast. Did a good job up there. Second down, 11. Dickey back to throw it. Gets it up. It's Marsh. First down, Michigan at the Michigan State 18-yard line. Big play in this ball game, I'll tell you. 3:59 to go in the game. Here's the look at it. You see Dickey come back and look down the middle, and there he found big number 80.
And a pretty cool quarterback this afternoon. Marsh is wide open. Made a good run-action fake, held the linebackers, and that was why he was so open.
Dickey 6 out of 11, 132 yards through the air today. They've marked the ball at near the 18-yard line. The pitch to Woolfolk, the tailback, coming outside with it. And he's got a couple to about the 17. George Cooper and Larry Savage on the tackle.
Talking about clock control, the Michigan State Spartans have but 2 timeouts left. And the clock is running at 3:20. They're going to have to hold here to get the ball back to make any kind of run for it.
Second and 8. Fullback Roosevelt Smith. He's close to the 15-yard line.
Roosevelt Smith carried the ball
up to third down and 6.
I think another strategical move here would be whether or not Schembechler would go for the field goal here. They're 0 for 10 in their last attempts, or whether he would just yield the ball to Michigan State deep in their own territory if they don't get the first down.
Let that along this point in time, guys got to start believing in the law of averages, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Dickey wants to throw it, gets it off, passes caught by Roosevelt Smith, fullback down on the 6-yard line, and Michigan is in business, first and goal to go.
I'll tell you, this Dickey has been strong under pressure. He's come up with the big plays. Fakes the tailback in the inside, and he leads this just right. Well, that's a key first down. I'll tell you this, Dickey he's well from last week. Of course, he was sick, had the flu, but he's recovered in a week.
William Germain.
And as we move along in this season, it begins to look more and more like it's going to come down one more time to Ohio State, Michigan for the Big Ten title. It could very well do it this year. The other folks are gaining. Dickey puts it up to Carter. Touchdown.
Well, you can see here that Schembechler elected to put that ball in the air, and Dickey justified his decision. Here's Carter on a quick out. What they did is they created some confusion for the defensive secondary by putting motion, and the coverage was a little mixed up, and of course Carter got the corner, and Dickey delivered.
And it's 20-7 with Virgil trying to make it 21. He does. 2 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the football game. And the Michigan Wolverines now getting a bigger command of the circumstance at 21-7. Well, it's put up or forget it for Michigan State right now. Michigan will kick off. And State needs something big from Hughes and/or Smith on the return if they get a chance. They're the two return men right there. Here's Haji-Sheikh to kick it off. Hooked it out of bounds, will cost him 5.
You know, looking back at the last drive, Keith, the big play when Coach Schembechler decided to go for it with 4th down and about a foot to go at his own 40. Consider the consequences in the event they had not made it. Burt Vaughn comes in and hits a bomb, and they go for 2 points. This game could be turned around. That's how delicate the game is.
Most valuable players in the ball game, Stanley Edwards. For Michigan at this point, probably won't play anymore today. Sore elbow, 24 carries, 139 yards. Steve Smith for Michigan State, 16 carries, 101 yards. Not too often you find both tailbacks on the respective teams going for over 100 yards. And from Chevrolet, the respective universities will get for their general scholarship fund $1,000 in the name of those players.
Well, they're both most deserving.
2:19 to play in the ball game. As Sheik hits it again and hooks it again. And they'll let it go out of bounds again. That's 5 more. So he'll kick this one from the 30. And while they come back, let me tell you, the executive producer of NCAA college football is Roone Arledge. Coverage of today's game produced by Mr. Charles Howard, whose Blue Devils had a tie. Directed by Andy Sedaris, the rotund pony from SMU. Our technical director, John Allen. Our associate director, Ben Harvey. Our technical manager, Sandy Sandberg. Our unit manager, Peter DiPaolo. Assistant to the producer, Peter Englehart. Research, Jerry Klein. Statistics, Michael Swanson. Did I miss anybody? Yes, I did. Chris Schenkel and Dave Dials will have the Prudential College scoreboard for you right after our game is over here at East Lansing. Ball is put back at the 30 now, where Haji-Sheikh will try to keep it in play. Well, he's hooked it out of bounds again, so he'll back him up to the 25. I don't believe it.
Bo's going to get some static.
He's going to be going out of his mind over there. The clock hasn't moved, and Michigan State's gained 15 yards.
Matt Foster, the center of the Spartans, looked back at Steve Smith and gave him the signal. Okay, now catch it and go. Well, he'll aim this more towards the center of the field. He's got to.
I hope so.
They're going to wind up in their own end zone. There he goes.
He really hit it, too,
Yeah,
didn't he?
did.
Oh, my gosh, Hughes slips and falls back at the 8-yard line. Can you believe it?
Oh, my. Oh, can't believe it.
That's a comedy of errors the last minute.
He finally booms one. And Derek Hughes goes back, has to take it going backwards. Feet come out from under him. His left knee touches, and down it goes.
Oh, my. Well, that's the difference between college and professional.
That's right. He could have gotten up and been able to run in professional ball.
Here the Spartans down by 14, all the way back at the 9-yard line. Vaughn's got to put it up. Going to get hit with a 5-yard penalty if he doesn't hurry. Pass in the air, pass complete. First pass today to Mark Bramer, the tight end. Bramer comes up across the 30 to the 33. Clock stops while they move the chains. 2:10 to play in the game. 21-7 Michigan. Well, last Saturday we saw Art Schlichter, Ohio State, against UCLA's prevent defense, take the Buckeyes 80 yards, hitting 6 out of 6. And he did it in a minute and 16 seconds. Can't get too cautious. On to throw it again. Bramer's going over the middle. He puts it on the sideline to Eugene Bird. Get out of bounds, Eugene. And he does down at the 45. So that'll stop the clock again with 1:49 to play in the ball game. And another first down for Michigan State. He turned it back into the center of the field, and I'm sure everybody on the Michigan State bench was yelling, get out of bounds.
He was open. He turns it back. He wants to make some more yardage. Hurdles. Well, I don't know if he's out there.
He didn't get out of bounds, no.
So.
Clock's running because they've set the chains down at 1:40. Just inside the 45. Vaughn will put it up. Jim Williams, the man for whom the pass was intended, and he was ridden out of bounds on the sidelines by the Michigan defender, Jeff Reeves. And by the time he got back on the field of play, Vaughn had to get rid of it or get sacked. There's a story on today's scoring. It is legal now to be bumped out of bounds by a defender and come back onto the field of play to catch the ball. A minute and a half to play in the game. 21-7, Michigan. Vaughn deep. Over the middle, and it is incomplete. Bramer had gone on a post pattern, and he threw the ball behind him. Curtis Greer was after Bert Vaughn, and he got him just about the time he turned it over, and then the two of them shake hands.
Well, Michigan has made big plays in this ball game. They drove down the field 96 yards. Then the big play to Clayton down the middle, 66 yards. And then, of course, Dickey's accuracy on the last drive that took them to their score after they had gambled on 4th down and 1. Now, you've got to say that's a pretty good football team.
Vaughn hands it off this time to his tailback on that sprint draw, but Michigan is having none of it as they get Steve Smith as he comes to the 45, maybe the 44, and a minute and 10 to play in the ball game. So now I think it's academic. Anything is possible, but highly unlikely that Michigan State could come up with 14 or more points in a minute.
Clock's still running. Less than a minute now.
4th down play, 4th and 10, 4th and 9, I suppose you could call it. And they've got to hit one here or give up the ball. Bird's over the middle. Missed it. Threw it too high. Bird was coming across the middle. And the ball was just too high for Eugene to get to. And Vaughn walks off the field with his offensive team. 43 seconds to play in the ball game. Michigan sitting on a 21-7 lead. Vaughn leaves at 6 out of 17, 86 yards and 2 interceptions. Now all the Wolverines have to do simply run out the clock. Michigan State with 2 timeouts remaining. John Wengler comes in at quarterback.
Spend just a few more minutes on your journey. Drive as though your family is in the other car. Thank you.
Michigan State right there spends the timeout. So we've got timeout by Michigan State. 43 seconds to play. Right now, let's spend a moment with Dave Niles and Chris Schenkel. Okay, we're back here as Michigan State with 1 timeout remaining, killing the clock. Michigan feeling they have victory in hand with only 43 ticks remaining. John Wengler will be the quarterback. Gerald Ingram will be at fullback, and Mike Cade, a freshman out of Eloy, Arizona. Both freshmen, as a matter of fact. Ingram from Beaver. So they are the setbacks. Tailback. Cade has it. He's another pounder, boy. Bo comes up with 1 pounder after another in that tailback position at Ann Arbor.
That's one play they learn when they get there. The pitch sweep. And they keep running.
Michigan State spends its last timeout. 25 seconds to play in the ball game. Spartans now with no more opportunity to kill the clock. Wolverines have the ball. All right. Clock running. Michigan trying to run it out. The Michigan band kicking up the noise on the sidelines. Wolverines run the ball into the sidelines and keep it inbounds. The time is just about gone. So in the 72 years of playing each other in football, Here on this afternoon in 1979, the Michigan Wolverines have defeated the Michigan State Spartans by a score of 21-7. So Michigan now 4-1 on the year, 2-0 in the conference. Michigan State 3-2 on the year and 1-1 in the conference. Teams leaving, crowd leaving, bands playing. It's been a fun afternoon in East Lansing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. More people fly United to Hawaii than any other airline. This has been a presentation of the leader, ABC Sports, bringing you exclusive coverage when the world comes to America this February for the 1980 Winter Olympics. Final score, Michigan 21, Michigan State 7.